Hey folks, and welcome to the Salty Seaman. Another military movie bullshit. I'm doing the series Generation Kill on HBO. Just a quick heads up for those who are big fans of military movie bullshit and how I normally do it, or military media bullshit in this case, since it's TV. It's not going to be usually just me tearing apart the military inaccuracies, though I'll point them out, of course, as I see them. But heads up, I'm not a Marine. I was not in Iraq, and I don't know how much I can give on that era, or on that the subject. But I do see how this could be fun. Just to give a review. All that out of the way, let's talk about some Generation Kill. Start off the series. We get a combat, what looks like to be a true combat situation turns out to be a training exercise. We have a pretend dead guy, blah blah blah. It's a good fake out. I'm enjoying looking at the. I remember from the first time I watched it. There is a mix of uniforms here, the old desert cami style versus the digi pattern. They'll get mixed in, and I am assuming during the Iraq invasion, that they were changing over pattern at that point, so it makes sense they have both of them. If I'm wrong, someone tell me. Right off the bat, one thing is with this bright sunshine, we're getting like all this glaring white off all these actors' teeth. It's completely minor nitpick and happens in every movie, no matter where it's setting. Everyone has beautiful teeth. It's a common complaint in movies as the most part, unless their teeth is specifically a problem. Everyone in a movie is going to have beautiful pearly whites, and I can tell you a bunch of infantry Marines like this, you're not going to see this much gleaming white out of their mouths. You'd see a lot more yellow and twisted teeth and other sundry things happening in their mouth.
People been fighting over this bitch since ancient times, dog. How many graves we standing up? Think about all the wisdom and science and money and civilization it took to build these machines.
A very poetic and intellectual philosophizing from a infantry Marine. Not saying it doesn't happen. There are definitely some smart infantry guys out there. Some are way smarter than me. I've met them. But on average, not to trying to be mean, not to crayon eaters, blah, blah, blah. But infantry Marines are just not philosophical in my experience. I'll just put it that way. So another interesting point, the title of this episode is Get Some. My first exposure to that was the movie Full Metal Jacket. My first ever military bullshit review. The chopper gunner is yelling at as he's shooting at innocent civilians. So, I throw that out and wondering, okay, is that, how long has that been around, or did they get that from the movie? Any old salt Marines want to clarify that? Not that it's not a bullshit thing, obviously. I mean, shit, we all yelled "Get Some" because we all saw the movie, but I'm wondering if it has a meaning beyond that from Full Metal Jacket, or whether or not it's it was something that was being said, in the Corps for a long time. This guy is fucking low reg, but it's the field, I guess. Now, I really like the baby face on this butter bar second lieutenant. There is always something to be said for junior officers straight out of ROTC or the academy. They come in 22 years old, whatever, and a lot of times, like I worked with a guy who was he was an academy grad. This guy, his name was Ian. Like we actually became friends. Good God, fraternization. His wife and my wife were friends. But he was an academy grad, rich kid, good head on his shoulders. Ian was a great guy, but my God, he looked like he was 12. This guy here is not quite as bad, but that is it's a nice little touch of you can you can already tell how much how much they really research, and like that's a little bit of just one of those things. Especially, I mean, maybe the younger troops wouldn't know, but I guarantee you, like the sergeants and above in here are looking at that guy's, fresh baby face, looking like he's all of 16. And, it is hard to take people like that seriously. It's just like you look like you just left. You look like you just graduated your senior year of high school and you just got back from the kegger, and now you're going to go lead men into battle. Always a problem in the military and the way the rank systems work. So I like that touch. Now this I have definitely heard about, the crazy fitness nuts, which go figure, the Marines attract a lot of fitness nuts. For those who from my understanding from my talks with various infantry guys who'd actually been in the field and done all this stuff, on my last ship, they would talk about these guys. Like, for the most part, most of them just, you work out, but, and there's, PT on occasion, but, it's the field. It's, it's not the place to, go get your crazy CrossFit shit on. And of course, this is set way before CrossFit, but same thing applies. But yeah, these guys absolutely exist. So another interesting question for our Marines, like these guys are in a holding pattern training in Kuwait. We see the officers are wearing shinies. Of course, like in an actual battlefield environment, it's like the worst thing. I think even a lot of civilians know that, because just from various Vietnam movies and other media. So I'm wondering if while in training ops, do they wear those? I honestly don't know. I think it would make sense just because it's visual, easy to see, in your training environment. So why try to hide it? But then again, like you want to train how you fight. And to me, that's a weird, there's a back and forth on that, like, hey, you can spot the officer pretty easy. He can stop training for whatever reason. But at the same time, it's like, forget to take that shit off when you're actually in combat. That's when, you become a fucking target. So,
Police that rooster!
So we get the first utterance of the famous line, "Police that mustache," and I'm doing a terrible impression. I don't do impressions. His mustache is out of Marine Corps regs. So, but again, field operation, they're special forces, and it's this plot line of like, we're going to maintain standards, blah blah blah. It's fine, and like it makes a good. It really adds to the story. I think it's like, we're out here doing all this crazy shit. We're a little lax on the rules, but some of them we're going to send out the master sergeant. I think he's a master sergeant to, among other things, make sure they maintain their discipline, because it's war. Discipline's important, and part of discipline is even in these situations is doing your best to maintain maintain standards as part of as part of your discipline as a warrior. But it's really fucking funny. I mean, there's a reason why it became a meme.
That's a good writer.
I am glad that you are so brave, and I pray for you.
Oh, what's she look like?
She's actually pretty hot.
Whoa. Ooh, I like them braids.
Oh, let me see, man.
Hey, listen to this.
This is absolutely true. We get, and I was serving there this time. I was on a carrier, and we got the same letters. And I mean, God bless them. We have in our hearts, we definitely appreciate it. But when you're in a deployment situation, and like definitely, on the carrier is not nearly as stressful as, these guys. But definitely, yeah, we sat there, we just fucking blasted them. And sometimes like they were funnier than us. I mean, we got stuff that was crazy, especially from the little bit older kids who did this, who would write the letters. We got one that was like, I think it was like a Girl Scout camp. We got this this one girl, like, she basically told us, like, hey, part of what we're doing as Girl Scout camp is, like, we have to go here and write letters to the troops, and she was just being, she obviously had a very good sense of humor. She said, like, I'm here at Camp Fuck-a-Ho. She spelled it weird, but we got the joke, and she did it. Her whole, I wish I don't know who has it. My friend Ryan might have that letter, but whoever was, maybe Michael had it. JO2 Michael. If you don't know what a JO is, go ask your dad. But that was one of many funny letters we'd get. We'd make fun of them, and sometimes we just enjoy. I think we had one. It was like a kid wrote it like he was in the principal's office for being in trouble. And, his punishment while he was waiting to see the principal was like, it should be punishment. It's like write a letter to the troops. And like, he told us his entire story, and it was hilarious. But for the most part, yeah, we would get the pictures and the kids, and like, we were cruel. And it was like, a lot of it was just really heartfelt stuff from little kids who wanted to wish us the best. And we just sat there in our personal, in our spaces, just fucking cracking on them. To amuse, but I can definitely tell this kind of stuff, and I know that we keep hearing not only that, but we keep hearing background conversations of infantry guys being infantry guys and having really stupid conversations that are often inappropriate for anywhere else in the world, but within a Marine battalion, racist, sexist, offensive, just boys being boys and boys being assholes, amongst themselves. It's gallows humor. It's tension relief. It's very, very, very accurate. And we also get him here with his beanie on after he just got told no beanies during daylight hours. So, we're seeing a bit of rebelliousness from it's a recon group. So, that would be my only thing is like how Marines are very, very big on strict discipline. But again, given the nature of who these guys are, possibly, they'd be guys who are like, yeah, fuck him. I'm going to untuck my shirt. I'm going to grow a giant ass mustache. I'm going to wear my beanie when I'm not supposed to. Actually sounds more like some shit some Navy guys would do. But rip it fuel. What powered the Marine Corps through the Iraq War? Hey everybody, it's Tobias from Oz. Yeah. Funny enough, my mom was in Hustler, so you were right there, guy in the background. Not nude. She was a mud wrestler in the 70s. I have an interesting family history, but let's move on. All right, so it's Sergeant Major, it's Sergeant Major, not Master Sergeant, who's doing the police, the mustache thing. So correction on that. What is his exact problem with the guy's mustache? I don't know. Before, yes, it definitely was out of regs. It was past the lips and all that good stuff. And the Marines are a little tighter with their mustaches than the Navy is. But by my 3 years I worked embedded with the Marines, far as I know, that mustache was in regs. So maybe I'll get explained. So basically, here we have a situation of what you're saying is bullshit. We know you're lying. But at the same time, we're not going to question it because we need these guys out here in combat. So, difference between being in garrison in the Marines and being in the field. Here we get a situation where that would happen. Like if you were operating a illegal hot stove in your barracks and garrison, and this shit happened. Pretty much everyone involved would have some kind of discipline going on. Here, they're just like, well, the lieutenant backed us up, and Major's just going to accept it because that's how the Marines work. Another very correct thing here to Mr. Tobias Beecher, whatever his character name is in here. He's the guy from Oz to me. Giving out baby wipes. Baby wipes were the fucking savior of people in operations over in the desert. They really are. They're fucking lifesavers. As a guy used to be on a ship, I can tell you. I know you like that nice clean feeling when you wipe with a baby wipe. Get that asshole like extra clean. Get rid of that funky smell when you're like really sweating and you really didn't wipe well. You all know what I'm talking about. But you can't. But don't fucking flush them down a ship's toilet because they will clog them, even the kinds that are supposedly disposable. In fact, there's a reason they say don't put anything down there besides shit, piss, and toilet paper, including paper towels and other things, because ship's pipes are very small. But yeah, if you're out in the desert with sand fucking everywhere, yeah, god damn, those baby wipes are a fucking godsend. Yeah, mail stuff on deployment is so fucking hard to get. I couldn't imagine being in a situation where it was life or death, but it's a fucking crime, and it happened. We heard about they had to like reinforce their vehicles with scrap iron and shit they found on the site, and I just on my own personal thing, not in this kind of environment. Obviously, this is way more heavy. But been deployed to areas where mail went through embassies, and I had shit mailed to me middle of deployment. I didn't get till 3 months after deployment. So very 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 big problem still. It still exists, and it's just a matter of what's going on, where you are in the world, and how well they handle mail, and oftentimes it's not very good. The good meal before you get bad news is a very common and often true military trope. I've never actually experienced it. It was always it's always one of those things you always heard, like they'll serve steak and lobster right before the captain tells you, like, hey, we're being extended for 3 months. I'm going from a shipboard experience here, and I've heard that my entire career. I've never actually experienced it, but. It is one of those things. It definitely happens. If you're about to send people out, I was like, hey, give them a fucking good meal. Absolutely. But, it's not as common, at least in my experience. I know there's also stories of like, before something major happens out of the White House, especially during wartime, a lot of pizzas get delivered to the White House. And the same way here they're getting delivered. And of course, they all know, they've been hearing this as boot camp. It's like, yeah, you get a fucking good meal, like in field ops. Yeah, it probably means you're about to go to, do some bad shit. Yeah, where people out in this environment jerk it is in the outhouses. From what I'm told, yeah, they, think about being in the desert where it's 115 degrees and now you're in a small box smelling of shit. So the temperature is up. It's probably 130 something inside the outhouse or inside the latrine head, porta potties, whatnot. But there's really no other place to get your business done. You're in tents with tons of people. You're in community showers, so it's your only place to go. So yeah, definitely true. I don't know about just, brazenly just bringing in a hustler and some tissue and lube, but yeah, sure. So that's going to end part 1 of episode 1. I did not know I would be going this long, but I'll pick up I'll pick up part 2 of episode 1 tomorrow. Depending on how these things come out, but the next day after this is posted, there should be a part 2 posted. I'll make sure to go finish that. Yeah, I did not expect this to go this long already, especially given my unfamiliarity with a lot of what's going on here. But I've already ran up a lot of time here, and so I'm going to split this into 2 parts for episode 1. The second part should be up the next day after whatever day this is posted. So that's all for now. Come back tomorrow for part 2 of Generation Kill episode 1. I'm really enjoying it, having a lot of fun. Peace, freaks.